Here to react, ClimateDepot.com executive editor Mark Morano. Mark, what do you say to these Democrats?
That we can say on TV.
They are completely out of... It's amazing how out of touch. If you read this letter that they wrote, the Maxine Waters letter and the other Democrats who sign on, it is completely in fairy tale land of complete nonsense, completely out of touch with reality. We know that these banks committed. I was at the UN Climate Summit in 2021 when they committed to this net zero climate goals, and it was all this virtue signaling, and everyone was saying, we saved the earth. Well, guess what? By 2024, and I'm talking April 2024, long before Donald Trump was reelected, they were already talking about we're not meeting any of the goals of our irrational exuberance that we had back in 2021. They were already looking for the door. And then, of course, they started exiting before Trump was president. Since Trump's been elected, and even before his inauguration, you have every major bank, J.P. Morgan, Bank of America, Bank of England, all of them withdrawing from the net zero banking alliances. You have BlackRock getting out of the net zero banking alliance. You have the net zero banking alliance itself getting rid of pondering getting rid of the temperature goals. They're looking at reality and saying, this is bonkers that we ever agreed to this. It's actually a welcome moment. This is a moment of clarity for the banking industry. It's like, hey, wait a minute, did we really say that? Now they're back to reality. This is welcome news, and the Democrats could not be more out of touch.
Yeah, look, this scam's been going on, as far as I've been covering it, since the 80s. 1983, we had 8 or 9 years to live. Planet was going to be underwater. Bernie told us 10, 12 years. Planet's going to be underwater. I'm glad to see this because I want ESG ripped out of Wall Street, this forced compliance, and your point about Jamie Dimon. But what's next? Because I'd love to say that they're all gone, but they're digging in some of these corporations, and people in the C-suites are making some of these decisions. This is a climate ideology or idiotology.
It is, and it's deeply ingrained, and you're absolutely right. It really began in earnest. 1988, the UN Climate Panel was formed, became a self-serving lobbying organization, and Al Gore, the rise of him into, almost the first climate billionaire, has led to one thing. They realize they can make money off this, and it's the same thing on whether it's the EV side, whether it's ESG side, whether it's the banking. This is a way where you can have corporate government collusion, and the Democrats love it, and the whole climate activists love this whole idea because they can impose climate policy, not only on Americans, but the world, without any legislators even agreeing. You could just work with government corporate collusion and banking alliances, and you could impose this agenda upon the world. That's what they're seeing being stripped away. Going into the future, I don't know. I mean, we're at a great high point of the collapse of this whole movement, but just like Jason in Friday the 13th, it always seems to come back. Jason, is he dead this time? No, but he comes back. So they're going to try to come back at some point in the future.
Mark, General Motors is trying to tank California's electric vehicle mandate, urging employees to help lobby against this 2035 gasoline car ban, also adopted by 11 other states. But GM is quite fickle on this. GM was in favor of getting rid of this, the California-led rules back in 2019, got behind President Trump, then turned tail and got on board the EV, train with Joe Biden, and now is back to being anti-EV. What are they? Well, they're led by Mary Barra and still owe us $11 billion. That's what they are.
They are, and it's kind of like, the old climate czar John Kerry. They were for the ban before they were against the ban on gas-powered cars. GE suffers the same problem as Stellantis, Chrysler, as Ford, Toyota. All of these automakers, and they're now calling for the repeal of it, right? They sound rational and reasonable. Well, years ago, they didn't want it. It's exactly what I was just saying. Corporate government collusion. They made so much money off this green scam from the government subsidies, from all these. We're going to open a factory here in America and bring good jobs. Stellantis did that, raked in tons of taxpayer money, and then they shut the plant down in 6 months because the sales aren't there. They loved it when the money was flowing, and now they're acting as though they've been always against it. It's typical corporate behavior, sadly, when it comes to the, sucking off the taxpayer. But now we're facing just a reality check across the board on this EV, and let's hope this ends once and for all as well. Let's forgive them for the past and move forward and get rid of this.
Well, I don't know if I'll forgive them that easily, Mark, but I'll tell you what. Corporatism, Solyndra, the wastes that have been going on, stealing from taxpayers. Keep the Democrats out of power. You'll keep the corporatism out of it, at least for the most part. Thanks, Mark. Good to see you.
Yes. Thank you.